Okay, well, welcome everyone to the Erinn V Facebook Academy Live. I'm excited to go through your project questions, and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to just start with the posts in the feed for the Facebook group live event, and I'll start at the top and go down. So I'll give you guys all a little quick background on me. I've been doing design for about 25 years. My grandfather was a contractor and a fine cabinet maker in his later years. My dad had studied architecture and then became a landscape architect. My mom was the ultimate DIYer. So I've been kind of in the home space for many, many years. And then I started my design firm at 24 with no formal training, but just dove right in, and 20 plus years later, have had success in the industry, award-winning projects of all shapes and sizes across the country. I have a product line, high-end furniture that's made in LA. I also have quite a few other product collections with Ambella Home, with Universal Furniture. Those are sold more at retail, so definitely check those out if you need some furnishings. We've got rugs with Maribon and Creative Touch. Baldwin Hardware's Hollywood Hills collection is my quick ship, available on my door and cabinet hardware, which is super exciting. And working on a few other new things as well. All right, so let's dive right in. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start here at the top. Let's refresh this too, make sure we got everybody's stuff in here. Super duper. Okay, so let's see. Cynthia Grubbs, we've got this beautiful photograph. She says, my question is about wood flooring in kitchens and bathrooms. Will it last? So that's a great question, Cynthia. Yes and no. It depends on how careful you are with your wood floors. I love wood floors in a kitchen and a bathroom. I have them in my home now. I've had them in past homes. You just have to make sure that if a lot of water spills on the floor, you wipe it up. Wood can be refinished after many, many years of wear. So there's always that opportunity. You've got to dry your feet really well before you get out of the shower. So little things like that can make wood flooring room or a kitchen last. Hi, Erinn. Hoping to get some feedback on this project. It's a large high-end villa in Norway. It's in a great view. Fantastic. I would love to hear your feedback on some details. First picture. What could be done on the zone and walls around the fireplace? Okay, so here we've got her fireplace. Looks like it's just drywall. Drywall is never my favorite finish on a fireplace. So really any tile could be really lovely. You could tile that whole thing. Large format porcelain tile would be very inexpensive and easy to do, or natural stone like a 12 by 24 would be very pretty. And the dark wall. The goal is to make the lamp, Louis Poulsen Quasi, pop more. Should there be done anything behind the TV to connect it to the other zones? I would also love some suggestions on types of carpets, colors for this project. Okay, let's see. I think she's got this. Oh, it's a beautiful house. Very cool, black, cream tones, woods, beautiful views. I don't know that there's much you can do to make that light stand out any more than it already does. It seems to be floating kind of right above the area. I would guess that they'd planned for that to be a dining room. So there was supposed to be a table there, but you have chairs. Yeah, I don't know that getting that light to stand out anymore should be the goal anyway. Whatever this white thing is on the dark wall, I would paint that so that it disappears. That would certainly help. And then just make sure that if you're sitting in this chair, you don't hit your head on this lamp. You might want to have it pulled up a little bit more, or center it between the chairs would be a better scenario. I would move it and center it. You could swag it over, since you have that wood ceiling, and center it to drop between the chairs. And that'll make it look like it's actually supposed to be there. Because currently I think your furniture and your light fixture placement are fighting each other, at least from this angle. Or you could move it completely and hang it over the cabinet in the back, put a big, beautiful piece of art or a huge mirror would be my choice on this big wall to bring in some of that light and views, and then hang the pendant on the side of the mirror. And that's going to make it feel like a vignette that was purposefully orchestrated. Because right now I worry that if somebody sits in this chair, they're going to hit their head on the light, and that just never feels good. In terms of rugs, I mean, I would say, again, go back to the, what I always teach in the courses, which is find inspiration images that you love of rooms and literally take your design cues from that. So if you like a really, really super, super modern palette like you have right now, then any kind of solid natural rug is going to look great. If you want to bring in a little more warmth and texture, you can go with something that is a little counterintuitive to the modernity of the box and do like a faded traditional in a very light palette. Going to give it a little more character and personality. And that can be a really beautiful way to kind of warm up a hyper modern space as well. Just because your architecture is hyper modern doesn't mean that everything you put in the room needs to be hyper modern. I would actually encourage you to go with some items that are more antique, more rustic, more vintage, with more texture and the feeling of handmade. Otherwise, everything gets really cold and it gets really flat that way. You have stunning views, so really fabulous. Yeah, the kitchen, I would do only rustic bowls, woods, concretes, things that look very handmade, very aged to give it a little more personality. Got the bright red chairs. All right, if that's your personal favorite, great. I wouldn't do it. It's not my favorite taste, but if you love red, go for it. I would say just bring in some red and small accents in the other areas as well. Those can be a tray, a book, pillows, small elements that kind of bring that red in, or a piece of art would be great over that cabinet with some red in it. Then you've got the red chairs, etc. Love the textured stones. I think that's a really, really, really great way to go. All right, let's see. Let's go on to the next one. Melinda Groff says, hi, Erinn. It's more of a business question, but I was hoping you could answer it. Do you have an affiliate program? I'm asking because I've learned so much from your courses. Awesome. And I would love to promote it as an affiliate on my socials. Super. It's so tangible how you explain things, and I think it's quite unique in the market. Well, I really appreciate it, Melinda. Thank you so much. Yes, definitely go ahead and email me, Erinn.com, and we can discuss. Teresa Thomas Quant would love some help with my fireplace wall. Open to a different TV, definitely a different mantle, trim out the fireplace, change up some accent, etc. Help. We are here to help. All right, let's look at this. Yes, okay, so the mantle I think is very arbitrary feeling here. It's just kind of right in the middle. Honestly, it might look better if you just take it down and just leave the brick, which could be more clean and kind of contemporary, because you already have so much traditional elements in the architecture with the bookcase, the beautiful crown molding, the lovely brick stone. I really like that brick. I just feel like with the decorative elements on the side, it's not really necessary to also have this wood mantle and more little kind of small decorative. To have like just the big mirror and or you could leave the mantle or lower it and not put a bunch of stuff on it. I think that would help. The TV, I'm a huge fan of the Samsung frame TVs. It looks like art, and that is the coolest thing for a television. So if, a new TV is in the budget, they're always on sale too. The ones from last year, I always buy them when the new model comes out because they put the old models on sale and they're still fantastic. It doesn't look like you need a very big one, but then that corner could be projecting art every day when the TV is not on, and that would look amazing. I'd say take off the little topiaries, maybe lower that mantle. You could hang the mirror down a little bit more. And I think you could use some books. There's a lot of hard accessories on here right now, right? The art, the glass, everything is hard. I do like the color palette that you chose and stuck to, so that's good. But you need some other elements that aren't containers. There's a lot of containers right now, right? Vases. So find things that are not more vases. You've got all these pots, it's basically a vase, 2 vases, another vase, another pot, another container. So you need other types of things, books, other objects, some rock or a sculpture. I mean, literally it could be anything to just not bring in more hard surface. I have old wood pot vases I'm looking at. Those can be bring in a different material, but that would be my suggestion. New TV, less items, some big books stacked, You could also potentially even do this brick, if you can find more of it, on the back of the shelves, and then that would be brick all in the back, and that would kind of warm it up and look really pretty too. All right. Yvonne Bush. Hi, Erinn. We're looking to renovate our home in a few months, removing walls, opening up areas for more open, lighter concept. Lots of cherry wood to eliminate. Definitely want to get rid of the cherry wood. In addition to refacing cabinets to an off-white, we're going to the top. Great. 9-foot ceilings in the kitchen, so that will be nice and tall. 11 feet in the family room. Quartz island, off-white backsplash. Cabinets around the fireplace as well. My question is, are trim colors Benjamin Moore Dove Wing? Planning on painting cabinets the same color. Should I also paint the walls in this color? Do I need contrast? Currently, all walls are Benjamin Moore Tyler Gray. My style is transitional with modern mid-century furniture, contemporary accessories. I love creams, sands, neutrals with soft blue grays, yellow, and sage. Okay, nice. I have a whole course on color. I think you should definitely review that. I am a big fan of simplicity when it comes to paint colors, but you know, the question is, do you want a white kitchen? That's the question, not like, should the paint match? The question is, do you want a white kitchen? So look for kitchens that you love. If every kitchen you're drawn to is white, paint your cabinets white. If every kitchen you're drawn to, the cabinets are wood, then spring for wood finish cabinets. Gray is pretty much out, everybody, you know, so a lot of use of gray. I would say definitely go to the warmer tones, more of a taupe would be nice than too gray. I'm not familiar with Tyler Gray. Maybe it's nice and taupey. But creams, tans, neutrals are really beautiful. The soft blue grays, yellows, and greens. I'd say, again, look for images of rooms that you love and then apply the colors that way. Painting the walls, the ceiling, the cabinets, all the same color if it's an open floor plan really does just let everything be a little bit more simple and elegant. And then you can accessorize and put art and everything on top of that. So I'm a big fan of using one warm white, very warm white. I love Benjamin Moore white down. I've been using that a ton, and it's just fantastic in any house. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous white. So check that out. Okay, Amanda. You mentioned in your classes that you don't have any formal training when you started. I wanted to ask you and hope you can speak someone how to start working with trade programs and other industry retailers without having a formal interior design degree. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and experience. You're so welcome. Yes, so if you are an interior designer and you have a resale permit, you need to get a resale permit if you don't. But that is going to allow you to shop wholesale brands, which have trade programs, or retailers that have trade programs. Typically, you can see anywhere from 10% to 20% off most retailers that would offer a trade program. And if it's the wholesalers, it can be more than that. But you're also then usually not paying them tax. So you have to track your tax and submit your tax typically quarterly, your resale tax, to the state. So it's not as simple as just like getting stuff for less. There is a bit of work that goes behind it when you're buying with a trade program. But if design is your profession and you are selling products to people, you are reselling them to your clients, you absolutely should only be shopping with trade brands where you're getting a discount. Do not pass that discount on to your clients. That is your discount. That's your margin to make a living. Doing design on an hourly rate is not enough to make a living. Trust me, I know. I've been doing it for 20 years. There's an obscene amount of effort and work and time that goes into design projects. That's why you're all here learning, right? To be able to do it yourself. But that is your designer discount. That is not to be passed on to your client. What I tell my clients is typically they're going to be paying less than retail. Benefit to them, right? So that's how I'd work with those trade programs. It's trade shows like High Point Market. It's twice a year in High Point, North Carolina. You should definitely register and go. There's Vegas Market, there's Atlanta Market. There's quite a few wholesale trade shows open on average twice a year. You can find phenomenal product, incredible brands, and they want more new designers going there and shopping and finding wonderful things for their homes and their projects. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay, Lorraine Lynn Kotsonis, support wall dilemma. In the entrance of my apartment, I have this opening. It's a support wall, as you will notice in the thickness of the wall, not a single brick, but rather a double brick. It's probably a post. We purchased this apartment with the idea to do a complete renovation. Thanks to purchasing your course, I'm not totally in the dark. Awesome. I'd like to please have an idea of what to do here. I don't want to close the space. I just need to know what to do. It has a short walk at the base. I don't know what that is. A short walk at the base and then an open space with a small wall to the ceiling. Yeah, okay. So there's a post in there is what's going on. And that's very normal, right? You have to support the roof somehow. So looking at this space, you can put shelves in there. You could put little shelves, floating shelves, and a couple little things if it bothers you that this is open. The reason it's open, I would guess, is because it's getting light into this doorway on the left, right? Your light is clearly your light source is here, and it's letting some light flood through. If it bothers you, just close it up. I mean, you don't have to have it there. You could put a piece of frosted glass if you don't want to see the entry. You could just drywall it and then have it as an art wall. Just know it would get darker over where the door is. I would probably paint your baseboards the wall color. So if you go ahead and paint anything in this house, I would say lightening up the walls would be nice. And then paint that wood baseboard the same as the wall color. That's going to just help make it look a little bit more simple and clean. And there you go. A couple options. Good luck. Thanks, Lorraine. Margaret Owen. Okay, please see questions below. All right, great. She's got lots of good work in here. Good job, Margaret. Awesome. Let's take a look and see what we've got. Bedroom remodel, curtain fabric suggestion or pattern. Great, getting lots of good people in here today. Should we add a chandelier to the master bedroom? See options page. We're going to antique gold the mirror frame. Don't like the orange tone. Okay, awesome. Although this is more yellow in person, okay for curtains and a bed runner. Inspiration for tone and fabrics. Okay, great. So I think this is a good moment to kind of take a look at our inspiration room versus what we have in reality. Your inspiration room is beautiful, right? Like soft, warmth with those taupes and the golds, not too overpowering. Certainly very on the contemporary side, I'd say a little glamorous for sure. But the fabrics overall in this inspo room are quite subtle. Your wallpaper is already busier. And then this pattern fabric strikes me as even, now I can see that it looks like a damask or something in these pillows, but they're slightly more tone on tone, which makes it a little bit more subtle. I think the color palette that you've matched with your wallpaper is good, but I would just want to point out that I wouldn't get too many large areas of pattern going if you really like the simplicity of this inspiration image. Because to me, although there is a graphic pattern in that headboard, and maybe you don't like that, but overall, there's very little pattern in your inspiration image. I would say that to kind of make your room a little bit more consistent in color, I would probably warm up your wall paint because your wallpaper is quite, we'll put it in a medium tone, right? It's not white, it's not super dark, but it's got a lot of color, if you will, depth of color. It would be in the medium tone. You could see here against the white walls, there's a lot of contrast, right, between your accent wall and your walls. I don't love an accent wall. I like things to feel a little bit more consistent throughout the room. So I would suggest that you paint your walls and your ceiling a warmer tone to kind of marry along with that wallpaper a little bit better. I would invest in lighter furniture. I would change your bed and your bedside tables to be much lighter if you're trying to really emulate the vibe of this inspo image, because those dark pieces of furniture that are very traditional are never going to let you get anywhere close to what you're seeing in this inspiration image. So that would be my first step, is new bed with an upholstered headboard for fabric softness and new bedside tables. You could keep the dresser because it's kind of its own thing. And I prefer when all of the bedroom furniture doesn't match, like in this bedroom image, right? Everything doesn't match. You don't want to set. Your bedside table on the left should be much wider. So I would pick a narrow one for the side against the wall and a much wider one for that left side facing the bed, so that it takes up the most space it can. That's going to make the room feel bigger and make it feel just more custom and elegant. A lot of companies will sell bedside tables in 2 sizes, so you can look for that. I would choose something kind of natural wood and a little bit less glamorous to combat the shininess in the wallpaper and the glamorous elements of the fabrics. They've done that nicely in this inspo room, right? Where it's clearly glamorous, but the bedside tables are actually quite natural. So I would look for natural bedside tables that are going to tone down that gold in your wallpaper, which is beautiful. We just don't want too much shiny gold, because when you get everything shiny gold, it's like, it's just a lot. The gold lamps totally work. I think toning down the mirror, if it bothers you, no problem. I would start by probably painting the walls before I'd worry about the gold in the mirror. Get new bed and new bedside tables before I'd worry about the gold in the mirror. And then for drapery, I would say no pattern, really subtle, like an ivory linen, simple, not glamorous, not shiny, no more glamorous stuff, because you've got gold lamps, gold mirror, gold wallpaper, going to be shiny fabric here, and that's fine. But then everything else really needs to take it down a notch. That would be my suggestion. Love a chandelier in the room. Anytime a pendant light, honestly, every single room in the house to me could use a pendant. That's always beautiful. I'm not sure how much height you have. It looks like you have a pretty good amount, but maybe something more of a bowl, like a semi-flush, you know, so it can be wider and not really high. So you're going to be looking for something kind of with some width and a short height for your space. I would definitely not do this damask pattern fabric as drapery. I would exclusively keep it to a couple pillows for the bed, and that's probably it. These are all incredibly glamorous. I would go with something without so much crystal and shine personally. Again, because we have a lot of glamorous elements in there. So you could still go with something like gold leaf, or a white plaster, or, you know, an antiqued gold, but maybe not crystal shiny. And then I don't like this drop for your room either. I think it needs to be wide and more of a bowl shape. Okay, living room, dining room remodel. Missing anything? Suggestions? Okay, cool. You know, this tree could be taller. I would definitely say greenery should be as high as possible, always. So here's this tree here, right? It could be almost 2 feet taller. You could put it on a stack of books. You could just put that pot in a bigger pot and fill the bottom with like hard foam, right? And then put some moss at the top. Really, cheap, inexpensive, fast way to get more height in that tree. I'd say this accessorizing over on your cabinet could use some help. There's a lot of just frames, way too many frames. You already have a million frames on the wall, which is cute. I wouldn't put any more frames over here. It's enough frames. You want other things, other types of accessories. I would probably paint these cabinets, the dark cabinets, your wall color, just light and pretty, and make them kind of disappear would be nice. And then you could kind of bring in a little bit of softness. Some drapery panels on these windows could be nice. This little art here kind of looks like it matches this one on your left. I'd probably take this one from by the window and stack these two to the left of the door and just do drapery here and a much taller pot for your tree. And I think you'll have a little bit more impact there. So overall, great work. Love that you put all this together. Foyer, add 2 ottomans in front of the half wall. Looks like if you ever open that door, then you're going to hit these ottomans. So I'm assuming the left door is what you use. Maybe just a small little table in the corner. I don't know that anyone's going to sit there, right? Unless you're looking for something to like sit on and put your shoes on, which I get. But then maybe one bench where you can tuck your shoes underneath. Might be nice. I'd probably paint those doors, and I'd paint this wood cap. Paint them taupe, make it more subtle, make it disappear. It's actually a pretty door, but it looks a little bit dated. But if you painted it, it would freshen it up. Cabinet in the foyer. Oh, wait. Oh, you want the ottomans in front of the little wall. I don't love any of those ottomans. And if you need the seating, that's one thing, but maybe just a table there. But if you're going to choose, I'd probably go with the neutral color. And then cabinets, I like these I and J and K for a little bit lightness, and I like the texture. I really love texture in a room, right? So these have some texture going on. Definitely not A and B. Those look like super ordinary. Everybody's got them hard and dark. The light furniture also doesn't show the dust as much, which is a real bonus. Anything dark is going to look dusty all the time, and you're constantly going to be dusting it. So there you go. Okay, Joanna Powell, moving on. We are rebuilding, remodeling our house, and this is the new floor plan. We've decided the kitchen cabinets would be metallic champagne, okay, for the wall cabinets and black for the base. So metallic champagne on top, black on the bottom. We're thinking of floating bathroom vanities for the first floor. I want it more relaxed zen for the master bedroom. Okay, here's her questions. If I plan to have a 60-inch floating double sink vanity, shall I have one piece 60-inch mirror or two mirrors? Let's take a look at her floor plan. Okay, can we zoom in here a little bit? All right, there's the master bath. This is an odd with a door from your powder room into your bathroom. If I were you, I don't know why this pocket door is here from the powder room to the master bath, but I think that's very weird and I would close it. There's no reason anyone needs to go from your powder room into your master bathroom. Now, if you're using that as like a Jack and Jill shower with Preston's bedroom, maybe that's why, but I think it's still a little bit strange because you're still gonna have to knock and lock it. So I don't know. I would close that up. I think it's a bit strange. Double sinks, you know, I think double sinks are a huge waste of space. I think it's kind of ridiculous for most people. Now, if you really want two sinks because both of you are in there and you have to brush your teeth at exactly the same moment and you cannot share a source of water, then go for two sinks. But what I find is that double vanities with two sinks, the sinks are huge and there's no counter space. And the counter is like junked up with a bunch of stuff because there's no room. So if you can find a single sink vanity, do that. You know, again, most of the time, both humans are not in there at the same time battling it out for the water that exact moment. Now, if you really want the two sinks, okay, get the smallest sinks you possibly can. Think about what you're doing in the bathroom, right? You don't need a huge sink typically. And then you each have counter space, which is the gold in a bathroom is counter space. One big mirror is great. I'm just looking at where like your windows, you've got one maybe there in the middle. So, but lighting, like sconces, where are your light fixtures? You want lighting at your face. So what I would do is I would have three sconces here, one in the middle, one on each side, so that both people are well lit. That's going to mean two mirrors with sconces in between. Lighting in your bathroom is key, everybody. It's so important, especially if you're building a house. Key. And I don't know how far down the road you are, but you could probably like push this bedroom down a bit more and have a second shower for Preston, which is going to add value to your home and give you both more privacy and be better in the long run. So I hope that doesn't throw too many wrenches in your mix. Okay, what about the wall next to the floating toilet in the powder room? I don't know why it's a floating toilet. It's just a toilet. Maybe you mean wall hung? Leave it neutral or design some decor. Again, you guys have to do your work first. So you've got to find your inspiration images. I can't just give you design advice off a floor plan in terms of style, because your style is so key. And all the courses are geared to help you find this, right? But you've got to do the work. So you need to go on Pinterest. You need to find the inspiration images you love of rooms that you love, and then you drill it down from there. All the courses walk you right through this process. Do that work first. Don't skip ahead and think you can just arbitrarily make decisions off of a floor plan and then like love your house. You know, it is like the best way to fail and to be unhappy with your remodel is because you didn't do that inspiration work first. You don't have a super clear vision of where you're going. And if you don't have that, it's going to be a mess. So please, please, please do that first. I'm happy to comment on the floor plan itself, but yeah, past that, I really can't comment because I don't know what you love. Planning to have one piece porcelain tile to avoid grout in the shower. I couldn't decide if I should have dark gray black walls. Okay, so grout in the shower helps you not slip. That's the whole point. Just be aware of that. Small tile on a shower floor with more grout is there for a reason, so you don't slip, because showers are wet. Tile is slippery. Be very, very, very careful if you're going to be selecting porcelain, especially. It better be highly textured, and you're going to need to put a non-slip coating on it so that you guys don't just in the shower. I wouldn't do that personally. It's not worth it. I'd get a second shower for your kid and like scale this back, because that is going to make this house so much easier to resell in the future too. If you ever want to sell it with one bathroom for the master and a sharing with the child's bedroom, very strange. Nobody's going to want that. So just be aware of the choices you make if you're ever going to think about reselling this house. Again, find a bathroom image you love and pick your tile colors from that. I don't mind dark walls in a small space. I think it's great. If it's already small and it's dark, lean into it. I've got dark walls here in this room and black cabinetry. Love it. I love it. It's warm. It's cozy. Black showers are very sexy. So don't be scared of dark colors. Go for it. They're actually very, very hot right now again. So striking dark colors if you love that look. Should I make the powder room the same as the master bathroom? No, but it's also kind of not a powder room, right? It's your kid's bathroom too. So that's really what you need to think about. What about the wall next to the floating toilet? Leave it neutral. We're going to pass on that one. Second floor bathroom 3, the bathtub. I'm at a loss. I think it'll be a drop-in with a handheld shower instead. Not sure how to make it nice and practical. Second floor bathroom 3. All right, so here's this floor plan. I hope this is interesting for all of you so far. Okie dokie. So bed, gym, closet, bath, 3, bath. Okay, so let's look at this. And enough with the double sinks. This is, cancel one of those sinks in this bathroom on the left for sure, especially if it's a guest room or like one kid's room. They do not need 2 sinks. They need counter space. So please, please, please get rid of one of those sinks. Gym, closet, bath 3. Okay. Something to challenge you with. I don't know how old Preston is, but maybe he does not need a bedroom right here off the kitchen. Maybe that should be your gym, and he should have this fabulous room with its own bathroom and closet. That could work better. Now, maybe he's very small and doesn't want to be upstairs or downstairs, but you have a whole bathroom here that you certainly don't need with a gym, and yet you have a bedroom up there or down there that you need a bathroom for. To me, it would make sense to think through this layout a little bit more. If you're going to do a shower and a tub in a small space like this, I wouldn't do a floating tub crammed up against a vanity. Water's going to go everywhere, and it's going to get all over that vanity, and that vanity is going to be ruined pretty quickly. So, and if somebody's going to be using this, I mean, a romantic tub freestanding with, the like tub hand shower deal. I have one in my house now, right? But nobody uses it. It's a guest bathroom, and it's got its own space. And I did tile baseboards because water definitely goes over the edge. And I don't think that this is the room for that. So I would definitely do a built-in. You're going to seal it all up so that water's not going to go everywhere. And you should probably put glass between that sink and that shower, because if anybody showers, they're going to spray the whole countertop with water, and it's going to be a mess. So guys, really think through, like close your eyes and imagine doing the activities that you would do in a room as you're designing it, because that's what I'm doing right now and talking through like the mess that you're going to create in a bathroom if it's not designed right. And anybody can do that, right? Just think about, like, you've got this hand shower thing and you're spraying it all over the room. You're going to spray everything on the vanity, the tissue box, your makeup bag, right? Whatever it is going to get wet everywhere, especially if kids are involved. It's going to get wet everywhere. So the more enclosed you could make that, the better. And I would seriously consider swapping your gym and Preston's bedroom. Okay. on to the next one. Nancy. I'm looking to do my first renovation on my bungalow. My questions are several. Take down or partially take down the load-bearing wall that divides the kitchen from the living room dining. I've posted some inspiration pics of a house similar to mine where they open up the kitchen while keeping some wall. Awesome. Keep the cabinets, lighten them up, always nice. Although I may need to add more cabinets, where to position the appliances. Okay, let's look at her floor plan before we go too far. This is fantastic that you've posted this. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, we've got her bay window in the living room. We've got a front door here, the closet. Take down the load-bearing wall that divides the kitchen from the living room. Okay, so I'm going to guess that's this highlighted wall here. There's a window. This may be a doorway into something, and the dining room. Okay, so you've got kind of an L-shaped kitchen, and it's open to the dining room. That must be coming in, I'm guessing, from the entry. Yeah. Where'd the zigzag come from? Is that the wall that you're thinking about taking down? I'm guessing that's the wall in between the kitchen and the dining room, not the living room. Yeah. It's great. In small homes, it's really nice to open up the kitchen because most people don't want to be so isolated in the kitchen, right? You want to kind of have more visible space. You want to be able to interact with more people in the home. Beware of grease. If you cook a lot, I wouldn't put the cooktop right by the dining table. I think that's a huge mistake. I would definitely keep your cooktop away because all that grease and smell is going to go right into your dining room, and it can be just a mess in the long run. That's one thing to consider. I'd say drawing this out with your cabinets and everything is really important. So I assume you want to take out this wall here where you've got cabinet. That could be nice. You know, maybe a door, a half wall in the kitchen, just to open that up to the living room could be nice as well. I just wouldn't put your stove there. So make sure the stove is somewhere else. But kind of that pass through, I don't know if you need it, but I think because it's such a tight, narrow space, I think you're on the right track to open something up, but just think through exactly what it is you want to be seeing, but it does feel very tight. I would say opening this up to the dining room would be my first choice, not to the living room. And then kind of going from there. Lightening up the cabinets, painting them would be great. Definitely agree that would be nice. Okay, so let's see. Where to position the appliances? Well, you need to draw in where everything is now in your floor plan, and then make a photocopy of that, or 5, and just start drawing over it and editing it and playing with the exact depth. So you've got a really good start here with your floor plan. Put your existing cabinets and appliances in the floor plan, and then copy that. You can use whiteout to start kind of moving things around and think about the flow, right? And how much storage you really need and what you really do in that space and what you'd like to be looking at when you're in that space, and see if that helps guide your decisions around where to place things. What are some other things to consider for placing the stove within the island, considering it would no longer be on the exterior wall? Is this more expensive? Anytime you're moving plumbing or gas lines, yes, it's going to cost money. Could it be $500 to $1,500, depending on where you are, who's doing the work, etc.? Probably. I don't know that you have room for an island. It's very small in here. So again, your floor plan, your paper, this is where you design. Sketch it out, measure. Ideally, you have 4 feet on each side of an island. It's definitely not going to fit in here. At minimum, 3 feet on each side of an island. I don't think you have that much space. So I think the island thing is kind of out. If you were talking about where this other house has this, this is not an island because you can't walk around it, right? This is just no uppers and an open wall above some lowers, that you could achieve. And then they've extended the countertop out and kind of created a bar. I would just really, depending on how much you cook, think about this, because it could be really annoying and the smell's going to go everywhere. So just think about how you live in the house. Maybe you don't cook that much. Great. No problem. But I would just play with it on paper, and your dimensions are your best friend. So good start, continue with the courses, and play with some of those dimensions on paper, and you'll see what can work and what can't. Okay. Shanaj. Hi, I'm interested to know your first thoughts on how you'd visually see the layout and furniture designer placement in both my kitchen and living area. The house is newly refurbished, but goes back to 1870. Wow, so cool. Okay, living room. The floor is a little too dark, but adding nice rugs perhaps would soften it. Absolutely. Lighter rugs will hide most of that flooring anyway. I'm thinking of dividing into 2 separate areas, with a TV area to the back and a nice armchair, coffee table, reception area to the front. All right, let's look at her floor plan. I don't know what the back and the front is. Water closet is there. So maybe you enter from the bottom of this floor plan, and the immediately to the left would be the front or the back. I'm not really sure. Pretty room. Love the arch. The floors are not that dark. By the time you put a rug over it again, you can hide most of it if you feel it's too dark, but it's a very pretty space. Nice tall ceilings, beautiful kitchen. I love the deep set windows and walls. Very nice. All right, let me read the rest of their questions. So because you have 2 rooms, your living room is 2 rooms with that arch. It's not 1 room. So yes, coffee table with 4 club chairs or 2 club chairs. I think if you're gonna have a coffee table, you need at least 3 chairs around it, or it's like 2 chairs and a side table, and your TV. But think about like how many people you're trying to seat in an area, and then decide from there. I don't know if you need this actual door into this living room. If you can take the door off, I probably would. It looks like you have doors on both sides, unless you want to be able to close them for sound. So that would be something I'd consider. But the room's very pretty. Dressing all the windows. Should it go to the ceiling or height to the floor? Ceilings are 10 feet. So because you have very little wall space here in between the window and the ceiling, the windows are nice and tall, which is awesome. This is fundamentally a great room. You could go anywhere in between because you have a very limited amount of space anyway. So I would probably say like split the difference. Run your rod right through the middle of that, and then get custom nice high panels. If you're going to buy something pre-made, like from Pottery Barn, they have nice pinch pleat drapery. You have to special order them. But what I just did is I special ordered the pinch pleat drapery. I bought 1 extra panel, and then I cut a piece of that and I sewed it onto the bottom of the panels to make them the height that I needed. I took it to my local dry cleaner, and she just sewed it on the bottom. So I mean, you can get away with things like that pretty easily, and it looks great. So we basically just put a taller hem on the bottom of the existing panels, if you don't do fully custom drapery. So that is one good way to go. Yeah, sorry, I don't know where your TV area is, but cabinets around the TV area. If you want to display stuff, go with that. If you don't, get a frame Samsung huge TV, couple sconces, make it look like art, and it's beautiful. I think too many people have too many shelves around their television, and then they're forced to style them and design them, and it's not always that easy. I hate accessorizing shelves. It's like the bane of my existence. So just decide if you really want that look. I love just a big TV that looks like art, 2 sconces, call it a day. It's so easy. Love a splash of vibrant color, but would you add some strong colors through the furniture pieces or keep it to the artwork? Again, that's going to be 100% answered by your inspiration work. So if you haven't found your inspiration images and you haven't done that part of the process, go back. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go back, find those rooms, study those rooms. Learn what you like by looking at finished images. It is So easy to do, but that's the process. If you trust the process and you do those steps, you're going to come out with a gorgeous room that you absolutely adore. And that should be the goal, right? Don't skip ahead and arbitrarily go buy stuff. It's the #1 way to fail at design. Kitchen, again, interested to see how you visualize furniture in here. Was thinking of a round kitchen table. Would it fit better in the space? I was thinking 3 simple glass pendants over the island stools, neutral color. Any suggestions? Okay, let's go look at the kitchen. Yeah, I mean, whatever these hanging light bulbs are like really ridiculous. So you definitely need new pendants. You've got a lot of ceiling height, which is awesome. Again, this is a gorgeous space. So you can get big pendants. I wouldn't do dinky little tiny things. Think about the amount of volume you have at the top of this room. It's significant. So your lighting should be significant. Depending on what you uncover in your inspiration phase, which you need to go do, find the inspiration images, find kitchens you love, and look at what they've got. Could be that a natural woven material would be here to soften it up, to warm it up. It's very hard surface right now, right? Stone, wood, walls, hard. So with some lighting, it can be nice to do maybe something with a basket, maybe something with a little bit more texture. Maybe a beautiful hand-blown glass if you like a little bit of artsiness, right? A beautiful metal could be really nice too. But I would say from your inspiration work, you should be able to identify some textures that you want to bring into your space. And that is going to help guide your decisions. I love this window on the right. Beautiful. You could do some tall, big art, tall art. You know, it needs to match at least the height of your window. Some giant piece of art there would be great. On the other side of the room, the doors are much shorter, which is a bummer. I don't know why they did that, but they did. But you could cheat that with a big piece of art that matches the height of your big window and a tall drapery panels on the left, so that the window, the art, the tall ones, and then your drapery are at the same height. And that's going to trick the eye into thinking that everything on that left side of the room is taller. So that's something that I would consider for sure. Bar stools, again, go through the inspiration phase, start identifying rooms that you love, kitchens you love, and look at the bar stools. Are they textured? Are they woven? Are they natural? They might not be your favorite bar stools, but they will help the overall picture of the room. Maybe every bar stool you see that you love is like a striped fabric and so cute, and you want to make this a little bit more nautical. I think the island looks like it's navy. That could be super nice and charming as well. A round table you asked about. I don't love that these cabinets don't go to the ceiling. I would for sure change that and take them to the ceiling, even if it's closed. That's just going to be like a dust catcher and a bunch of tchotchkes up there. So that would be my one big change I would make. Maybe you were doing that already. Sorry if I don't recall. Interested to see where the table would go. So the big problem with this floor plan is the island's not on there. How do we know how much space we have? So finish your floor plan, put your cabinets in, put your island in, and then we decide how much space is left and what you should do. I think they removed those wing walls. No, it's still there. A round table is great. I guess that would go over here in the dining area. And then you got your big island, and then this area in the back is kind of just there. I can't see because there's no dimensions on your plan and the island is missing. It looks really big in the photos, so maybe you have a lot of space, but definitely put it all on the plan, measure it out, and then you can start drawing in your furniture and measuring it out exactly, and ideally use a scale ruler if you're doing it by hand so that you can figure out how big everything is and you have enough space. But it's a beautiful house. I hope that was helpful. Okie dokie. Let me just refresh and see if we have any more questions. Okay, good. I see there's some questions through here. I will go through. Great. Good afternoon. Lana says, if I don't pass the discount on to clients, how can we attract them? That's the reason they shop with me. It shouldn't be. And you need to educate your client. What I say to my clients is this is a professional service, like a doctor or a lawyer. There's education, there's skill. If they're shopping with you just to get a discount, you just need to reiterate and reframe the work, right? The work should be the key. That's why they're hiring you for service. They're hiring you to help them. They're hiring you for your expertise. They're hiring you so they don't have to do all the work. It's a lot of work to design a house, right? I mean, you guys heard me. I keep saying back, go do the work, go do the work. So you're going to be doing all that work for them. You're going to offer them to buy at your wholesalers, so they're still getting a better price. I don't buy anything retail for my clients. I go to those wholesale companies. I'm typically purchasing at 40 to 50% lower than retail. I'm adding my 30% markup on top of that product, and my client is still getting a discount off of retail. That's how you make money in the business, and that's how you should be running it. And you should let them know that you're ultimately going to save them time, save them headaches, save them from returning products, save them from having a bad design, save them from buying things that don't fit in their house, save them from spending money on painting colors that are ugly, right? Like that's your value. And you're going to be building a home for them that they truly love, that their family can enjoy. That's the sales pitch. When it comes down to the nuts and bolts of the numbers, you should be buying at brands where you can make your margin and you're still buying it for them at less than retail, but do not ever give away your discount. Did anyone get the name of the white color paint that Erinn loves? Yes. Sorry, everybody, if the sound was so bad, but it's White Down. White Down. Benjamin Moore, BM, White Down. I just put it in the chat. Oh, Nancy put that in the chat too. Got it. Oh, so did Penny. Okay, awesome. Thanks, ladies. Okay, awesome. Let everyone send messages. Great, that's on. I'm going to go back here and refresh and see if anybody threw in a few more questions while we were in here. And then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, CJ. Yes, CJ put something in. And if you have personal success stories that you can share, like you've helped clients and they've sold their house for more, that's great. If you haven't done that yet, that's okay too. But just really sell the value of your services, your expertise, and the end result, right? And then make sure that you're shopping with brands that support the trade. That's really key as well. And if you are buying retail, I just send the links to the client. I make them check it out. I make them buy it. I make them accept the shipment. I make them process the return when it comes broken. And that alone will sometimes make people go, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to do all that. That's why I'm hiring you, right? Well, you need to make money too. And so that is a great one. I'm like, yeah, sure. If it's retail, I'll send you the link. You can deal with it. And then I will manage and maintain all of the other products. And that works really well for a lot of people too. Usually just by saying that, they go, oh, that's an option. And then they never actually want to do it. They want you to manage the whole thing and get it done. And then again, it's up to you to find products that you can make your markup on. And even better, you can find products where there's a retail list price of $1,000, but you're going to be able to sell it to them for $800. And you can send them that link and be like, okay, do you like this product? Well, here it is. And my price for you is $800 because you're getting it for $600 or something like that, right? And that'll be awesome. Okay, CJ Boys. Hi, Erinn. We have a basement to finish. For the bathroom, the blueprint shows a 6-foot vanity. Basement to finish. Okay, bathroom, 6-foot vanity. I heard your advice to plan a single sink. Yes, to maximize counter space. Looking at the space, do you feel the whole wall should be filled with a 6-foot vanity, toilet, then the shower bath, or would a smaller vanity promote breathing space? Vanity space is usually the best. Okay, so let's see where we are here. Basement, bedroom, bath, bar, storage. Okay, I think it's this one on the left. A nice big basement. This is going to be great. Got a cool bar area. You've got some nice windows, a storage, stairs, family room. Okay, so this is a bedroom with a closet. The bathroom is through the hallway, I assume, so then everybody in the space can use it. No, I think what you have here is great. Definitely do not do a small vanity. It's going to feel like there was a mistake made. I think the way it's drawn is perfect. I'm a big fan of the wall hung toilets. If you can get one in here, that's going to give you more space. The wall hung toilets, the carrier, the water tank, if you will, of the toilet has to go in the wall. So if you're building this home, they can frame for that. If they have to make a framing adjustment at this stage, it would be very, very cheap and easy to do, most likely. But that then gets your toilet, like the Kohler and Callista toilets. The Kohler are pretty affordable. I think it's only 21 inches deep off the wall. Most toilets are 28 or 29 or 30. They get super huge, so they jut way out into the space. So that alone would be worth the investment of doing a Kohler wall hung toilet, because that's going to keep that toilet shallow and give you more room to get in and out of the tub and shower. I don't know what that bump out is behind your tub. See that little box that's drawn in there at the bottom of the tub next to the toilet? Why is that there? What is that? Do we need that? Was somebody just filling in the wall space to make the tub fit better? But that's a place to do and get some like a great niche. You know, if you can push into that wall, you could put a niche there for soaps, shampoos, etc. That's going to get you the feeling of more space as well. So I would investigate what's up with that little nook right there. And then your linen cabinet is there. Yeah, looks good. Okay, cool. Hopefully that helps. And then there's Cynthia's. Okay, everyone, I think we have gotten all of our questions. Refresh one more time. Yes, perfect. All right, I'm going to stop presenting. Check the notes. Here we are again. Okay, one more question over here. Penny says, I have a 70s house with all espresso doors and trim and baseboards. I like it, but keep getting recommended to paint them. I also have matching espresso bathroom vanities. I was thinking of restaining the vanities, changing poles, and adding a white countertop. The paint is all done in Sherwin-Williams wool skein, which is a warm tan. So this is a good question, right? Espresso doors, trims, and baseboards. I would probably for sure paint your trim and your baseboards light, like the wall color. Wool skein, warm tan, maybe you want to go whiter, but to just make it disappear. And since it's 70s and kind of bright, like retro cool, perhaps, you could leave the doors dark, but I really would probably not like that little dark wrap of ribbon that is going to be created in your home, right? With a dark baseboard, you're going to see that line and it's going to draw everybody's eyes to your baseboards. It's not really the goal of a beautiful room is to make people stare at your baseboards, right? So I would paint those out. That's why if they are the same color as the wall, they just disappear. I'll give you guys a quick peek at the other side here, right? Black wall, black baseboards. I definitely don't want a strip of white running around on my black wall. There's no crown over there. But over on this side, black cabinets, black crown. You know, I do have the white trim around the door because those are open and the door jamb is white on the other side. But I think there it looks nice. It kind of punctuates, right? And here on this side, white wall, white baseboard meets the black wall with the black baseboard. So it just looks more consistent and clean. So if you like your dark doors, don't paint them, but maybe just the trim around them can be white or the wall color. And the same with the baseboard. That'll feel a little more fresh and probably be worth it. Matching espresso vanities, thinking of restaining the vanities. If you just change the countertop to white, that is going to give you like a black and white kind of vibe going on. And maybe you don't need to paint the vanities. If they just feel dark and heavy and they're drawing a lot of attention, then painting them lighter is going to make them just disappear in the room. And that often can be nice. And that's a lot of time what people are responding to is not the fact that it's dark, but the fact that they just don't want to see it, if that makes sense. If the vanity kind of blends into the stone color or blends into the walls, then you walk in the bathroom and you look at other things. If the bathroom is light and you walk in and you stare at this dark cabinet, it's grabbing too much attention. That might be what people are responding to as well. I mean, like, ooh, those cabinets are so dark and heavy. I had a vanity in my bathroom downstairs with kind of a greenish, taupish, mottled granite, you know, stone, kind of the color of like a wet riverbed, if you will, right? With rocks and greens and blues a little bit in there. And it had this dark brown, reddish brown vanity below it. And it was just like, didn't make the stone look great. And the vanity was dark. So I painted it this greenish color. I needed to make that stone look beautiful. So I custom mixed a few different colors of paint and did this kind of muted greenish, bluish color. And then I put new hardware on it. Bathroom looks freaking amazing. And it was just because we painted that one thing and changed the hardware. So, you know, that can work really well as well. What is a framed TV? Okay, it's called The Frame by Samsung. I'm going to put it in here. Samsung The Frame TV. That's the name of the TV. It's called The Frame. They're incredible. They are 1.5 inches deep. They look like art. They come with a black frame, but you can buy a white one or a light wood one or a medium wood one that snaps on like magnets. And then for, I don't know, $4 a month or $6 a month, there's some subscription that Samsung offers where they have thousands of images, paintings, photographs. And so it basically looks like art on your wall, instead of looking like an ugly black box on your wall, right? Because most TVs are off, I'd say, most of the time when you're in rooms, maybe not, but game changer, because then it just looks like beautiful art. You could probably put your own images up there too. Maybe you don't have to pay the subscription. I've not looked into it enough to know, but that's the only TV I put up in anybody's home. Little, medium, small, I mean, big, fabulous. So it's worth the splurge. Amy Bruni wants to ask a question. There she is. Yes, Amy, can you unmute yourself?
Can I go?
yeah,
I'm sorry,
Okay.
can you hear me? Sorry, I figured it
Yeah.
out. I'm actually in the car because we moved in yesterday and they're demoing to do the paint. Well, when we got in after the first time with no furniture or anything, we realized that I was going to paint a few rooms, but everything needed to be redone.
Uh-huh.
So they're doing the ceiling in the Swiss coffee
Great.
flat.
Pretty. Yep.
And I tried the Swiss coffee on the walls, but to me it was too white. So I went with the biscuit of Sherwin-Williams. It's warmer, softer,
Okay.
and the problem is I call this house the 50 Shades of Brown because there's everything from the 70s orange oak to the espresso, well, actually the sort of grayish, that it's
Mhm.
just too many different colors. So my question is, I was listening to Penny's dilemma, and what we're having them do is uh on the windows. And then I'm sorry I didn't get you my inspiration board. I actually have it done. I just didn't get a chance to get it across because we're without Wi-Fi and everything. But
Okay.
the windows and the front door and the kitchen doors out to the deck. When I say windows, they're the deck windows, so they're the ones that go out onto the deck. Three in the great room, which is cathedral ceilings, and they've put an almost cherry stain crown molding, but just on three sides, not all the way around. And there's a great big stone fireplace in the corner that
Paint it
goes
white.
from floor to ceiling.
Get rid of that stripe of cherry. 100%.
And see, this is where the problem is because my husband likes that and
Well,
doesn't want it to go.
sorry, husband, but it's dated. And it's going to draw everybody's eyes to that stripe of wood, which is like an arbitrary choice to have people staring at. I have vaulted ceilings in this house. They were like this, and it's big brown stripe of crown molding. And it just, to me, it looks ridiculous. I painted everything white, and the room is gorgeous. People walk in now and they go, and when I bought this house, everything was brown. All the wood was brown. All the molding was brown. All the crown was brown. All the baseboards was brown. It was stripes and stripes and stripes. And it was horrible. And it felt dated and old and tired and shabby. And with a coat of white paint, it is fresh and beautiful and seamless. And now you walk in and you look at the art, you look at the fireplace, you look at the furniture. You don't go, oh my God, look at that stripe of crown molding.
Yeah, that's definitely where the eye goes. And
it.
so this is the baseboard that was
Mhm.
in there
Mhm.
all throughout the house, except there's one shade in the entryway, another in the kitchen, and
Yeah,
another in.
all your
But
baseboards should be white. No wood baseboards. It's tired and old and dated.
okay,
End of story. Never good. Don't do it.
okay,
Period.
okay. Thank
Especially if
you.
they're multiple colors. Oof.
Well, I
No.
was going to go in. Well, I have to change them though because they pulled out the 35-year-old carpet today and are prepping for the flooring. We're getting hardwood, a dark wood,
Yeah, no,
but
that's pretty.
um
Just get
and
your baseboards your wall color.
well, I have to get deeper baseboards. I have to get taller baseboards because
Oh,
this
nice.
won't Yeah, because
Yeah.
because of the height
All
over the
baseboards
carpet.
is great.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay. Bye. Bonnie, this is the white down behind me. It's a great white. It's the perfect white, in my opinion. Okay. Anybody else? How do you recommend painting doors and door jambs so they don't chip or get scratched? They can always chip and get scratched. That's just life in a house. But they should be lightly sanded first, and then they should be primed. That's going to help the primer adhere, and the light sanding is going to help the primer adhere, and then the primer is going to help the paint adhere. So it is a bit involved if you want to do it right. You can also just do it fast and dirty and paint them and then figure out the chips later. But always keep extra paint on hand when you finish a painting project. Make sure you buy enough, you have some left, and you mark the can and label it really well. That is like a simple thing that sounds so basic. Most people forget to do it. And then later they have no paint and it doesn't match because the paint is going to age and the color is going to change. So 3 years later, when you go to touch something up, you're going to be like, and then it's a mess. So buy more than you need and save it. And then it's really easy to open that can and like touch things up quickly. I touch things up in my house all the time because I'm crazy about chips and stuff. Okay, anybody else with some questions or anything? Yvonne says, should I change my trim from dove wing to white down? It depends on what your walls are and the rest is, so that's kind of up to you. If you're starting from scratch, I'd paint everything the same white, because then it just makes it easy. It makes it easy to touch up. It makes it easier for your painter to paint. It just makes things easy. If you want a little bit of contrast, then sure, change it. But I think they're pretty close to each other, so it probably wouldn't make sense to arbitrarily just change the trim color. What do I recommend doing with popcorn ceilings that have been painted several coats? Get rid of the popcorn. Every ceiling in this house was popcorn ceilings, and it's just terrible. So if you can, pay to smooth it. It's going to be the best. Otherwise, there's nothing to do. You just keep painting it and hope that one day you put enough paint and it goes away. Can you comment on refinishing the orangey oak cabinets? Do something lighter? Is it just best to paint them? Yes. So oak cabinets, oak is very popular wood. Again, it's a nice, expensive hardwood. You can bleach it. So someone has to sand it. Then they have to bleach it. They basically mix bleach and water, and they wipe it on, and they let the bleach sit, and it eats the red out of the wood and the orange out of the wood, or the dark out of the wood if they were stained dark. And then they wipe it off. So an experienced finisher would typically be the way to do that. Then they're going to sand it a little bit. Now it's like back to zero and ready for stain. Oak, usually red oak, is what a lot of people have in their homes, and it has a lot of red in it, right? Versus white oak, which is a different type of wood. It's whiter. If you want to get any of these light colors, like my doors, they have to bleach the wood anyway to get the red out. And so it's a bit of an expensive, time-consuming process, but absolutely doable. I'm sure you could do it yourself if you really wanted to. But that's the process. Sand, bleach, wipe it off, sand it again, and then you can stain it any color you want, and you can get those beautiful light colors, and it'll look gorgeous. So if you don't want to go through all that work, paint, light, sanding, primer, paint, and you're going to be done. My husband doesn't want the expense of changing the trim color. Well, then, that is what it is. Paint it yourself. Painting is not hard, guys. It's actually quite easy. Just paint it yourself. Get a nice paintbrush, spend, a few hours per room, and you're done. But it will make a huge difference. So if you can afford to hire a painter and you just don't want to, hire a painter. If you want to do it yourself, just because you want to get it done, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Marianne says, exterior black windows. Should I have the interior in white or black? Oh yeah, sorry, you did ask that, I think, at some point. Exterior black windows. Should I have the interior in black or white? I like modern, organic, neutral for warmth. I have a lot of natural light, want wood interior doors. I'm probably going to say black, because when the trims meet, outside black, inside white, glasses here, you're going to see that. And if they're all black, it's just more consistent. And if you're doing a very neutral, modern, organic, that black trim can be really, really pretty if they're like a metal window or something, or that type of a look. But you're going to get that black trim line around all your windows. So you're going to really want to make sure your windows are nice and big too, for that ideally. But you can't go wrong, black or white, honestly. So it's just going to be kind of personal preference. Look at pictures of rooms with the black windows inside or the white, and just kind of, you just at some point have to be like 50-50 and pick. But you can't go wrong either way. Our walls have a light texture. Is it worth having these skim coated before repainting? This is Yakira. Also, I want light to hang wallpaper in some areas, so I assume it's necessary in that circumstance. Yakira, it really depends on how textured your walls are. If they are heavily textured, you have to. You say they're lightly textured. So if you have a very thick wallpaper, it might be fine, and you don't have to have them skim coated first. There's also like an underlayment that you can get for wallpaper. I don't know if you're going to hire a paper hanger or do it yourself, but I've wallpapered over lightly textured walls and it's been completely fine. But if you're hiring a paper hanger, have them come in. Some of them are big divas and they're going to want it perfect, 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 perfect. So, kind of depending on what the scenario is there, you might be able to get away without it. Bonnie says 1990 3,000 square foot single level house, changing out red oak floor. Should we go with wide plank or narrow? Wider is better. 7 inches, great size. If you want to go up to an 8, 9, or 10, they just get more expensive. I don't really feel the value is there. I think mine are about 7, and it's a beautiful size. Narrow, it looks very dated, so you could do multiple widths, a 7 and a 5. That's kind of nice too, and do it a little bit random. If you want a little more variety, a little more of a traditional feel to your wood floors and not have it be so modern. But yeah. Robin says, do you recommend a dark wall behind a large TV? If it is a typical television that's black, yes, it's a great way to hide it. I had a beautiful dark textured wallpaper in my living room years ago with my big flat screen TV on it that was off most of the time. And it was a phenomenal way to just hide that big black box. And then I had a cabinet under it. I put a vase on the side of the TV with tall branches, because that's how you walked in the room. And it basically hid the corner of the television. Because the frame TVs that I'm obsessed with, I'm not paid by Samsung, I should be, but they stick flush to the wall, right? So it looks like art, but most TVs on those brackets stick off the wall a lot. So I had that vase there to kind of hide that. Nobody even knew I had a television in the living room. It was awesome, unless of course it was on. Okay, let's see if there are any other questions that I missed. Maxine says, are ornate covings, so maybe some ceiling coves stuff, and ceiling paper outdated? It really depends. I would say the ornate, now I don't know if you mean like a medallion around a light fixture or like an actual coved ceiling. Coved ceilings are gorgeous. They're never outdated. The wallpaper, depending on what it looks like, could certainly feel dated. But paper on a ceiling in general can be awesome. So I would say it really just depends. But if you've got a coved ceiling, I mean, those are expensive to install. I would say that should be beautiful. And then the ceiling paper, you can always just paper over it if it's not a grass cloth, but if it's a thin, real paper, to something a little more neutral if you don't like what's there now, or have fun and do a crazy pattern and enjoy it. Okay, I think I got most of those. Should the baseboards match the color of the walls or the color of the floor? Always the color of the walls. Always, 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 as much as you can, for sure. What do you recommend doing on popcorn? We did that. Okay. Amy says, all the interior doors are super cheap, hollow wood and orange oak. Yeah, just paint them. They're not worth staining. Just have the guys sand them lightly and spray them. Wall color. Maxine says both. Okay, what was Maxine's question? Okay, so yeah, I mean, you could just paint, paint your coved, paint your medallions, so they're all one color, And again, paint out all the molding. If you want it to look fresh and feel clean and updated, just a beautiful coat of white down over everything, or a taupe or a soft blue or whatever color you're doing in the room, but just paint it all the same color. Don't have multiple shades, and that will help it just disappear and look very elegant and very timeless. Penny says, when removing the popcorn, do you recommend covering them with something rather than scraping? My drywall guys do it. I didn't do it myself. I really have no idea. I think what they did is they just went over it. I mean, the ceiling was like that. You can see now it's like perfectly flat. I didn't really watch. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be up to the people doing it. So if you're going to do it yourself, it's really messy, but I mean, hey, get in there. So I'd watch a bunch of YouTube videos and figure out what they suggest first. But yeah, so I don't know if they scraped this off and then they just went over it with new mud and sanded it down. I mean, that's probably what happened, but I'm going to leave that part up to you to figure out. Oh, well, if there's asbestos, then that's a whole other thing. Then you probably do just want to go over the top of it and not disturb the asbestos, I would assume. But there are those asbestos, remediation teams that will come out and kind of advise as well. So it might be worth looking into that. Okay, everybody. Any other questions? Donna, you done or you have a question?
Yeah, no, thank you, Erwin. Erwin, you came into my life last year when I was in the middle of a brand new build in Belford, British Columbia. I am so grateful for your course. It was fabulous, perfect timing. Awesome. I'm now going to have to adjust to a family joining me and a little girl, and the floor plan has got to adjust and change. So I've been listening very carefully to what you're saying, because I have to convert some spaces that were for storage now to make a bedroom. And
yeah,
I don't know what colors to use. It's all white, everything. I listened to you very carefully last year. I just don't want, there's a smaller space and I just don't want to make it too, I want to personalize it for her. And I think I may have to leave it up, the coloring up to her, maybe.
Yeah, how old is she?
10.
She'll definitely have an opinion. Most kids do. Now, if she doesn't, I say you go on Pinterest and you find several rooms that you like, maybe different shades, and then show her 3 or 4 options. That's often a better way to go about it with kids than just letting them be like, purple, But if they love purple, there's really light, very gray shades of purple that can be nice too, right? Or a fun little wallpaper can be super great in a kid's room. Serena and Lily has a lot of really soft, pretty papers if you want a wallpaper instead. But paint for a kid's room can be really fun and playful. You could paint the bottom like a zigzag and leave the top white. And then it's easy to paint over it, but it feels really playful and cool. Or just to paint a chair rail band around the bottom, right, of blue or gray or yellow. And then you can leave the rest white, and that's very easy to paint out later, but it adds a lot of personality and playfulness to a kid's room that they can. I'd say, look on Pinterest, find some cute images, and then show her of a few that you like the best, so that you're very much guiding the decision-making process, right? Maybe you can, and then, just go from there.
Thank you very, very much, Erinn. You're just fabulous. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else want to ask a question? Let's see. I don't see everyone here, so let me see how I can do this. Scroll through. Oh, thanks, Sharon, for joining us late from the Netherlands. Appreciate it. Well, if anybody else has a question, just unmute yourself quickly and ask me. I, for some reason, can only see the first 6 people in this. Let me see if I can change my view somehow.
Hi, Erinn. It's Amy again. I was just going to ask, how often do you do these sessions? Because I've just started your course. It's perfect timing because of the move, but it's also bad timing because I'm not even a quarter of the way through. But this is really helpful as well.
Good. I've been doing them about quarterly, so every couple months. Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll post it, and I'll try to do them more frequently for you all as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Marianne, did you have a question?
I do. If you did the white down on the walls, would you do it with the ceiling also?
Yes.
Okay.
The more consistent your wall color and your trim and everything, it just glows off of each other and looks really, really nice. Now, if you have super, super white walls to begin with, once you start painting it white down, you might be like, oh my God, it's so yellow. It's not. Just keep going. Most homes I find are painted like shocking white, like primer white, and anything looks yellow when you see both colors together. But it's a very white, really pretty color, and it works with anything.
Okay. And you, if I'm going to go with the light trim inside with the wood doors, do the trim?
Yeah. Do the
Everything.
baseboard and the trim in the wall color and the ceiling color. So those are light, and then your doors can be their own thing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Questions?
Is white
Yeah.
down closer, or how is that compared to like the Swiss coffee? Because I'm familiar with the Swiss coffee color.
They're very similar. I feel like white down has a little bit more, like we're talking about minute shades here, right?
Okay. Right,
But
right.
just a little bit more gray and a
Okay.
little bit warmer, if that makes sense. But they're
Yeah.
very close. You really can't go wrong with Swiss coffee either. It's why it's like an industry standard. It's always pretty. But I feel like white down is just a little bit more special.
Yeah, I have Swiss coffee in my utility room and it's great there, but I feel like that would be too white for the whole house. So
Well, and that, that's kind of a different conversation too,
Oh,
right?
okay.
It's like,
Right.
do you want it to be just a warmer tone in general?
warmer white.
I think all the historic colors in Benjamin Moore, I really like their HC historic colors. So if the number is prefaced by HC, they're more of a muted palette typically. So they're just universally always nice. But I do the same thing. I recommend, I get 3 colors. I put a big splotch on the wall, multiple walls, depending on the light. I look at it at night. I look at it at day, and you'll very quickly go that one, but they look completely different sometimes on 2 sides of the room. So with the light coming in, this wall is going to get washed and be very bright. And the wall next to the window source is going to be very dark, right? So I do big splotches. Painters come in and give you like a 4-inch little ridiculousness. You can't see anything. And just be aware that whenever you're looking at paint colors, whatever's surrounding the new swatch is going to skew your eye. So I try to paint a big swatch and I like cover an eye and I like really just try to only focus on the color because whatever's around it is definitely going to influence you. And just be aware of that so you can kind of try to, put black next to it or a really white, and then you can kind of see.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure. All right. Next question.
So you were, I say on the doors, right? I should just leave them. Do you know what I mean? Like it's flat, zero texture, cheap, hollow. I should leave the doors and just paint them. I shouldn't.
Well, the best choice is new doors.
Okay.
New custom solid wood doors, but depending on what's
Yeah.
or, there's like build.com has like 2 and 3 panel white shaker doors that are a few $100s each.
Okay.
Those look great. They look a bit like they don't have the double step molding, but I like the 3 panel.
Yeah.
And they're a couple $100, and I've bought those before and they look awesome once you get them painted and they're installed. So, there is going to be labor and cost involved in painting the doors. Hollow doors always feel cheap, right? And the doors are the thing that you interact with in the home. And so if you can get a heavier weighted door, also it's great for sound, of course. So
what about trim or molding? Have you ever done that? Would that make a difference, or would it just, you'd still be able to tell that it was
it's just sinking money into like something that isn't going to be that great and ever. So like if you're going to start doing all these things to it,
might as
just
well
buy new doors,
Right. Okay.
You'll be happier in the long run. I'd hate for you to do all that and then you still hate them and then you replace them in 2 years and you're like, why did I ever do this?
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Donna says, thank you. Looking forward to hearing you closer to this move. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Nancy says, if I open the wall between my kitchen and living room, what would you recommend for furniture placement in the living room? It's so hard to say. I can't answer that sadly without seeing your floor plan. Just think about grease and
It's
think
the
about stuff going that way, you know? Grease travels. So in terms of furniture and placement, you know, it would be, you just, I don't ever make those suggestions until I've measured and I've made a floor plan and I start sketching it out. Floor plans are always going to make you feel like there's less space than there is really, if that makes sense. You can always fit more in a room than you think you can on a floor plan. So I love to walk around with a tape measure and like measure stuff in a house so that you start to really understand how close things can fit and feel good, or what things need more space to feel good. And then it makes more sense when you start working in 2D on a floor plan. But you know, I love having open floor plans, but I also love walls. So walls can be your friend if you want to be able to close your kitchen, if you want place for art. I think the trends had gone very, very, very open, and now they're returning back to walls and doors because they're highly functional. It's great to be able to close rooms. So, you know, I think just really think through how you live in the space, how much you're cooking. Is there a lot of activity in your living room and you feel completely separated when you're in the kitchen, and that's why you want to open it? Maybe it's a small kitchen and you just like want to see out better. All good reasons. But just think about the wall on the other side that you're losing too, and then, you know, kind of decide. Nancy, if you want to chime in, feel free. Lana says, what baseboard material would you recommend? What do you think of polyurethane? So baseboards, typically if you're going to paint them white, just get an MDF baseboard. It's a compressed wood, right? They're cheap. They have them at Home Depot. It's the least expensive way to go. And usually they come white already. So they're almost like pre-primed, if you will. So MDF is ideal. Now, if you want a pretty shape or something, they don't do that in MDF. MDF is just going to be square typically. So I like a 6-inch square sticking, they call it, just a square edge, for a very modern home. But I did a double stepped in my house here. It looks phenomenal, where it's like tall and then it steps back and then goes up another with another piece, you know, something a little more interesting. But the double step, kind of like the paneling behind me, I really love. The baseboards I'm looking at here have like that traditional, they were the wood ones. I don't know if you can really see, but they have a kind of a scrolly multiple band. That's actually 2 pieces of molding. That's how they make these things typically. So it's a square molding, and then it's a very kind of scrolly profile on top. And when it's painted, it looks like one piece, or it was stained before, it looks like one piece, but it's technically 2 things. So that's how you can achieve a taller baseboard with a little bit of interest. If you're doing a transitional or a traditional house, you want a little something, something. Any flat surface is going to collect dust. So when you do that square baseboard, just be aware that you're going to have to dust it kind of regularly as well, because it's going to collect dust. So the ones with a little bit of, you know, that going on, the dust kind of hides better. So if it's your house or, you know, the clients, just kind of think about that depending on how much of a clean freak you are and how much dusting you want to do. Like I have this gorgeous cabinet of mine that's from the Erinn furniture line. It's beautiful. I love it. It's black. I will never have black furniture again. There's so much dusting. I have a bunch of antique light wood stuff, like old, weathered, and oh, it always looks clean. So just something to think about. Bonnie says, so if I have a gray accent wall to match the kitchen lower cabinets, then the other walls should be Swiss coffee or white down. I have a floor to ceiling rooster painted on the gray wall. Oh, that sounds cute. Well, Swiss coffee or white down, they're both very close. Sample each if you're choosing and see what you prefer. If I had to arbitrarily pick, I'm going to pick white down because I use it all the time and I love it. But then I'd say, what are your upper cabinets too? You know, those should just be the wall color ideally as well. Lana says, I need a honey beige. So I assume you need a honey beige stain. I don't have a good name to give you. You're going to have to just go to the stain store, Home Depot, or have your finisher custom mix something for you. We get all of our stains custom mixed. We tell the guys, this is the shade we want, and it's their job to provide me samples to approve. I don't ever give them just the name of something for them to go buy when it comes to stain. Literally, even this black is a custom mixed black, because it's like hair color, right? If you just dye your hair one color, like you just take black out of the bottle, we've all seen someone like that. I used to do that. It's literally one note. There's no depth. There's no dimension. There's no highlights, low lights. It's just flat, 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 flat. It looks cheap, right? Expensive highlights with multiple colors, more expensive, prettier. Same with wood finishes. So even if they mix 2 or 3 colors of stain, you get a depth in that stain than if they just go buy 1 can of stain. So, you know, you're not gonna be able to really see much on this wood, but like this is like a matte black, but it's like a gray brown black, you know, it's not just black. And it's much prettier because it is gray and it is brown and it is black all at the same time. So with those colors, I would give them a photo of what you're trying to achieve, and then make them make you samples, 3 or 4 samples. Do not ever let anybody stain anything in your house or your client's house without you seeing a physical sample first, in person, not a photo, and approving it. They mail me samples from projects across the country. I will never, ever, ever, ever approve a color ever from a photo, because photos are lies half the time, right? Our screens are different. I can take my own pictures and know that the thing I'm looking at is beautiful and the picture looks terrible. So that's the process. Just force that on whoever you're working with, and they should be fine with it. And then once you approve that sample, ideally you cut it in half, saw, because it should be wood, right? Ideally, whoever's mailing it to you keeps half and they mail you half, and then you don't have to mail half back, right? So they label them A, B, and C. They cut off half, they label it A, B, and C. They mail you half. You have A, B, and C. And now when you call them and say, I love B, but I want the tone of A, they know what you're talking about, and you don't have to mail stuff back and forth. But you keep a control sample, right? You mark and write on it with Sharpie, approve this on the date. You keep it in your client's box or bag or wherever you're keeping their stuff. And when you go to the house and you see the thing, if it looks terrible, that's your insurance policy, right? Because you have that sample and you say, no, I approve this, and that looks nothing like it. And then it's on them, the installer or the finisher, whatever, to fix it. So think about that ease of use, but also keeping that sample. If you have a finished sample that you love and you're giving it to a workroom, put it in a Ziploc bag and write on it Sharpie, like what it's for and that it's yours, because they will lose it. They will stain it. It will come back ruined, and you won't have that amazing finished sample again. Like, samples are so valuable because they're so hard to get. So if you get your mitts on a beautiful piece of stained wood that you're going to sample and use for your house, like, don't let it out of your sight. I've literally cut little pieces like this in half, and I will keep half and keep half. And I put it in a huge Ziploc bag so it doesn't fall down the seat of their car. They don't drop it on the floor and somebody throws it away. Like, these are all things that happen, right? It happens all the time. Huge Ziploc bag, gallon size, heavy duty. And you write, do not remove, return to Lana, client's name and project. And then, you know, tell them also, don't lose my sample. I want it back. Don't put your stainy fingers all over my sample, and your life will be a lot easier. All right, Yakira says, happy to hear you say keep the walls. We have a number of pocket doors we love for closing off. Yep, I love pocket doors. They are fantastic. And I agree. I don't like super, super open either. I want rooms. Okay, awesome. All right, everyone. Well, you've been super great today. This was lots of fun. I hope it was helpful for all of you as well. And I will figure out how to get this recording in the Facebook, and we will see you next time. Okay? Yay! Thanks, everyone. See you later. Ciao.